Welcome to BNOW. My name is Don McLeod for Tuesday, November 22nd. And as usual, joining me is Fazal Khan. Fazal, how you doing?
I'm good, Don. We missed you last week.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Did you miss me?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Last week we didn't do the show because it was the inauguration of the councillors. Everything went well. There was no fights, no fisticuffs. Everyone was playing nice. So that's a good start to council.
Yeah, I was watching the inauguration on the live stream. It looked like everything went well. They had a good turnout. I didn't see too many people taking social media photos and stuff afterwards, but I mean, no. From the feedback I got, everything went well. So good.
Yeah. So actually, you know what today is, Faz? I was going to tell you.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday, November 22nd. You know what happened this day in history 59 years ago?
No.
John F. Kennedy was shot in
Dallas. Really? 59 years ago.
59 years.
You were alive back then, right, Don?
I was alive, yes. And I remember that basically the big news anchor at the time was Walter Cronkite, and he was basically on. There was him, and I forget the other guy that was a newscaster, but they were on basically the entire day. A lot of people heard the news and couldn't believe it, but that was a world-shaking news story at the time. John F. Kennedy was, we're talking about a U.S. president, but it's like he was known around the world.
Oh, yeah. That must have been something.
That was a huge story, and you know what? It's one of those things. It's a historical monument. If you live through something like that, it's pretty amazing. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that.
Yeah, I didn't see any social media on that, so I guess the world is slowly forgetting. Maybe next year, the 60th anniversary, they'll remember it. But I guess it's not something you really want to remember either. So.
Yeah, but it's like, you know what? Yes, you are that old. Yes, I'm pretty. Actually, I look pretty good for 150. You know,
are you a vampire? Okay, Don, we got lots of stuff.
All right, let's go. What do we got this week?
Okay, let's go through the agenda. First of all, we're going to be talking about there's some kind of soccer game.
Yeah, World Cup 2022. Yeah, it's going to be on tomorrow. That's going to be cool.
The big one, yep. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about flu shots and COVID. Oh, we're also going to talk about coyotes.
Oh, coyotes. Wily coyotes. Okay.
Coyotes. We're going to talk about coyotes before the flu shot.
Okay.
We're going to talk about the tree lighting and Miracle on Main Street, which happened last Friday. Yep. You and I were there. Most people in the city were not there, so we're going to show you some of the highlights. Same thing with the Santa Claus Parade. That was on Saturday night. And then we also, interviewed the mayor. Was that last week?
Yeah, it was last week. Yeah, we did a half-hour interview with the mayor. We continued the tradition that we did at Williams Cafe the first time he was elected mayor. So we decided to do it again. So we went through a whole bunch of things. It was about a half an hour long.
So we're going to show a clip from that interview where he's talking about the future of Peel Region, which is quite interesting. And then an update on the Brampton Barn. And I'm smiling, so it's I think you know what happened there. So let's get started, Don.
Okay.
The World Cup.
World Cup. Yeah, Canada's back in the World Cup after, I think it's 36 years. I remember basically the first time they went to the World Cup. So the Canada-Belgian game is on tomorrow. It starts at 2 o'clock, I believe. I think it's carried on TSN and CTV and down in Garden Square in downtown Brampton, so you can watch it. 7 players representing Brampton on the world stage, which was pretty awesome. I just saw an article in the New York Times basically saying, giving Brampton a shout out, saying that a community outside of Toronto, Brampton provides, 7 players. So even the New York Times is carrying that story of 7 Brampton players. So we wish them luck. Hopefully they will score a goal, because the last time Canada was in the World Cup, the odds against them scoring the goal it was like 1,000 to 1 or something, and they did not score a goal in the entire tournament. So hopefully
I was alive for that, Don. I was alive for that one. I was never a big soccer fan, so I didn't watch it. Football fan for all of you purists. So, but before we go on, Don, there's actually the city's doing quite a bit here. So you can watch the game tomorrow at Garden Square.
Yep.
But let's go back. So the 7 players we have, I want to actually name them, and I might mess this up. So if I do, if somebody comment, or if you watch it afterwards, let me know, because I don't want to mess it up, but I didn't have time to go do all the research. So The captain is Atiba Hutchinson, and he's the guy in the middle at the top. And that's it. I don't know the names and the faces for anybody. I only know Atiba because I've actually met him. But then we also have Tajon Buchanan.
Yep.
Ike Ugbo. That's the one I could have done. I might have. So it's IKE UGBO. Ike Ugbo. So let me know if I got that wrong. Junior Hoylett, Kyle Laren, Liam Miller, and Jonathan Osorio. So those 7 athletes either grew up or were born in Brampton. And so Wednesday, we're playing Belgium. On Sunday, the 27th, we're playing Croatia at 11 a.m. our time. And on Thursday, December 1st, we're playing Morocco at 10 a.m. our time. But on the Sunday game, is that the 27th? On Sunday, the 27th, when we play Croatia, the city is going to host, and I'm just going to read this. The city is hosting an exciting celebration in Garden Square with a number of local organizations, including Brampton Soccer Club and Brams United Soccer Club. There will be soccer nets set up for kids to play and local food vendors where fans can grab a bite to eat. They don't say anything about alcohol. And Garden Square will be transformed during every Canada match, and life-size cutouts of Brampton players will be in the square, which is kind of cool, providing fans the opportunity to snap a photo with their favorite player. Canada flags, Muskoka chairs, picnic tables will be set up for all matches, but you are encouraged to bring your own lawn chair just to make sure there's sufficient seating. So lots going on there, Don.
Yeah, that's cool. That's, so I'm sure we'll be down. We'll go down and see what's going on down there. Hopefully the food vendors will have good food vendors because you like food, Faz, and, if it's not good, you get pretty cranky.
I like free food, Don, and I don't think this food is free.
All right.
But it's probably going to be good food.
All right. Well, go Canada. I'll be watching that game tomorrow at 2:00. And like I said, hopefully they get to score a goal because the last time we were in the World Cup, we did not score a goal. So that's
I am going to bet you, Don, that they're going to score a goal in every game. They're not going to be shut out.
Well, let's check it out. Belgium is ranked number 2 in the world. So we're basically.
Oh, I did not know that. Did not know that.
Yeah, it's a tough. We're up against a tough opponent right off the bat. So
didn't Saudi Arabia just beat one of the powers there? Who did they just beat?
Argentina, I think.
Argentina, which is I think the biggest upset in World Cup history. So
I don't know. We'll see what happens. That's only the first game, so we'll see. But anyway, good luck to the boys.
Okay, so now let's talk about a big problem in Brampton. Apparently, I don't know how big it is, but we have some information. Coyotes. I know a few years back in my neighborhood, somebody was bit by a coyote, and it was a big deal. I haven't seen any coyotes in my area, although, we'll show you a map just now. So, Don, you and I were talking about if you see a coyote. I asked you what you would do, and you said you would do what?
Well, I was saying you see a coyote, if you're with a small dog or a small animal, you just throw the small dog or small animal, towards the coyote and run like hell. That's my thing.
So that is completely not what you're supposed to do.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to stop. And this is the funny part. Pick up children and small pets if necessary. You're not supposed to pick them and throw them at the coyote. Stand still. Never run. Never run from a coyote. Make yourself bigger. I think we all have heard that one. Appear aggressive. Stand tall. Wave your arms high in the air. Be loud and assertive. You won't have a problem with that one.
No, I'm good with that.
Shout, stomp your feet, clap your hands, carry a noisemaker. I don't know how many people carry a noisemaker, but
mine would be a 45 or a 9mm pistol. That would be my noisemaker. But
a whistle, a plastic bag, or umbrella to make a popping sound. Fight back. So don't just lie there and get eaten. Fight back. Throw some sticks or rocks in the general direction of the coyote to scare it. Do not throw it directly at the coyote. And then slowly back away, maintaining eye contact, never run. And then obviously call 911. But also if you just sighted one and there's no imminent threat, you should report it that way to 311. So you just call 311. So that'll be very helpful.
I think a lot of people in the new subdivisions of coyotes, because they're infringing on the area. I mean, I've seen red foxes trotting around my neighborhood, but coyotes, they're more towards the outskirts of the between Brampton and Caledon.
Yeah. Well,
River Bear
let me
Bell.
show you the map, though, Don.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
It's quite interesting. So here's the map. I'm gonna kind of go over to my other computer and zoom in here. Hang on a sec.
And
So
this is where the coyote sightings have been.
Yeah, so I'm like in the bottom corner here.
Yeah,
There's some sightings there. It's right by the Credit River.
Yep.
But to me, I'm not a data expert, but I can tell you there seems to be a problem somewhere here in Brampton, and I'll zoom in here.
Yeah.
Right. What's the intersection there? Williams and Kennedy and the Bovaird in the 410 area. So I don't know what's going on there, but I'm pretty sure something's going on there.
Well, don't forget, I mean, you have people, like garbage and stuff like that. Garbage, all that kind of stuff attracts wildlife. You also have Professor's Lake not too far from there, right?
But there's also what is this? Is that the Etobicoke Creek? Yep, the Etobicoke Creek. So I don't. There's some off ramp there where they're all coming out. I don't know what's going on there. But if you live in that area, definitely be careful at night and report, because the city should definitely provide some kind of assistance or help. I'd be scared if I lived in there, to be honest, Don. So by releasing this data, I think it's going to alert people.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah. And apparently Karen can hear them at night in their neighborhood.
That's probably Mike just basically making weird sounds outside. That's what he does on a regular basis.
Okay. All right. So there's your coyote update. So be careful. Let's go back here. All right. So what's the next article is done? We did the World Cup. We did flu.
Oh, flu shot. Flu season. Yes.
Yeah. So you did a video with
Kamal Kara,
and we're going to show the video now.
Okay.
Here we go.
It's always important to get your flu shot every single year, and it's so good to be here at my local pharmacy to get not just my flu shot, but also the COVID-19 booster. I think we all have a role to play in keeping ourselves, our loved ones, and those most vulnerable in our communities, particularly seniors, safe, so we can get through this winter as safely as we can. It's easy, it's quick, so please go out and get your flu shot. Absolutely, you can. As you know, I just received my COVID-19 booster as well as my flu shot at the same time, 2 different arms. COVID shot will protect you from COVID-19, and a flu shot, your annual flu shot that we've been getting for many, many years, will protect you and your loved ones from getting the flu. Absolutely, and you should.
So, Don, did you seriously ask her what's the difference between a COVID shot and a flu shot?
Absolutely, because a lot of people don't know there is a difference. They think basically the COVID shot took over from the flu shot. They're 2 different things. The flu shot didn't morph into COVID. It's something totally different. And the thing is with seniors, seniors are more susceptible to viral infections from the flu. So that's why it's important for seniors to get the flu shot. So if you have a parent at home or someone that
did you get the flu shot while you were there?
No, I get my flu shot from my doctor. Okay, there's 2 ways you can get it. You can get it from your doctor, or you can get it from your pharmacy, your local pharmacy, as Kamal Kara said. So she's the minister of seniors, so that's why she was out there with a senior doing the COVID and the flu shot.
Okay, well, and there's our public service message for today's show.
Absolutely.
So now we are on Miracle on Main Street and the Winter Lights. So on Friday, I've never been to this, Don, and so we were there covering it, and I was impressed. It was a really great event, a great turnout. Garden or Doug Willens,
Ken Willens Square.
Ken Willens Square was jam packed. So we have a quick video there as well. So and also it was also they were doing the lighting of the winter lights. They do a really good job there in the downtown area. And also it was a combined event with the Miracle on Main Street, which is a charity that is run by Tiger Jeet Singh and his son.
Yep.
Or his
dad.
One is his son. One's I keep forgetting.
Tiger Jeet Singh is his. That's him, and then his dad. Right?
Yeah, so. The dad used to be a wrestler, and I didn't realize that. I think I used to watch wrestling when I was a little kid. I think that's when he was wrestling, and it was I don't think he was pretending to be an Arab or something like that. He's Sikh, right? But so I got to go back because I'm pretty sure I watched him as a kid.
Okay, let's move on from that nostalgic, like a little episode there. Okay.
So we have videos. So here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh! Merry Christmas, happy holidays, enjoy the events tonight.
Beautiful. We were overwhelmed last night, right? So hats off. Much love and appreciation to my brother, Mayor Patrick Brown, Chief Nish, all the Peel Regional Police. We are so happy to be here with Michael, with the Boys and Girls Club of Peel. We are going to be donating about $5,000 in gift cards here today to be dispersed all throughout the children. And we got about $50,000 worth of toys right here for the Boys and Girls Club of Peel. Yeah. Mayor Brown?
Well, and this is what it's about. The reason the city partners with the Tiger Jeet Singh Foundation is to make sure everyone has a fantastic Christmas. This is the festive spirit, and I can't wait to open up this a trailer full of cars full of toys for the Boys and Girls Club here with Councillor Fertini, Councillor Power, and we're excited to see the generosity of the Christmas season. This is our first stop, and then we're going to the hospital next. But this is what the toy drive is all about.
Absolutely, right? So if we can do an official countdown, and the mayor can help me bring this down.
Okay. 10,
5,
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Merry Christmas!
Oh, look at this.
There you go. All right, we're going to leave you guys here to unload it. We're going. No, I'm just joking.
Okay, so the Miracle on Main Street charity was collecting. They've been collecting toys and funds, and they've got a lot of sponsors. It's actually quite a big charity. I think I was actually at the launch a few weeks ago, and I think last year they raised $850,000. So it's a substantial charity, and they are. I've seen the amount of work they're doing to collect the toys, to organize. They had, I think, the petting zoo and things like that were there on Friday were all. I could be wrong, but they were.
No, I think they were provided by the Tiger Jeet Singh Foundation.
So tons of work. So that delivery was on Saturday that we got the clip for that went to the Boys and Girls Club, but they also did another delivery to William Osler for the kids in the hospital there. And I think they're continuing to collect toys. So there's a few of those charities doing the toy.
Well, they do that not only in Brampton, they do it in Milton and other places as well. So it's across across the GTA area.
So fantastic work. I'm glad I went, and you should go next year. Not you, but the viewers should work because you were there with me, Don. All right, so our next is the Santa Claus Parade. So Santa Claus Parade was on Saturday evening, so a lot went on this weekend. So we got a clip of that as well. Here we go. Of Santa, obviously, a short clip.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, everyone. 34 more sleeps. Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, boys and girls, moms and dads.
So, it was really well done. Obviously, you and I always like to critique things to how it could be better, but first of all, it was moved from Main Street because of the construction that's going on in downtown to Bramley Road, north of.
It went from Central Park Drive up Bramley Road, and then it turned basically west on North Park Drive. So it was a totally new route. There was a lot of people along the route. There was a little sparsity, in between sort of thing. But when I was up at North
it's hard
Park,
to access in between, right?
Yeah, and it's like where are you going to park your car and stuff like that. So it was mostly the people in the neighborhood. I was up at North Park and Bramley Road, and that intersection was really, really packed. So there was a lot of people up at that intersection. You were down at Central Park Drive in Bramley. How was the crowds down there?
They were bigger actually because I don't know why, but that's where everything starts, and it was brighter by when it started there. Maybe if you had younger kids, you went there. I think it was more parking down there if you figured out a way to how to get parking. That was some issues. I think is some of the critiques we had is if you wanted to drive there, I don't know where you would park. I got there 2 hours beforehand and kind of figured out a back roadway to get to a local school and park at the school. Most people, if you were too late, you couldn't do that. You couldn't, if you parked at Bramley City Center, it was too far of a walk, especially if you had young kids. So it's only the locals that were there. I think the turnout was fantastic considering the change. I think the demographics of the people were also very different.
Absolutely.
Which is good, right? Because, I think
well, the parade, when they hold it downtown, I never see anybody other than white people down that downtown court. This time,
so you could say
there was a lot of Sikhs. There was a lot of different.
There were a lot of brown people. There was a lot of brown people. There was brown people.
Well, you've got that area, right? So it attracted a whole bunch of different people to that area, and they were, they had their small kids, and they were all excited. There's a clip that we had at the very end there when Santa's finally coming up, Bramley Road to North Park. All the kids were. You could hear them shouting.
Yeah, they're screaming. They're excited. And by the way, I think that the Santa sleigh is a new sleigh. I would think it was built a few years ago because the pandemic hasn't come out. But you can see the complexity of that sleigh. Right? It had smoke coming out of it. The reindeers are moving up and down. The thing's ginormous.
They only had 5 reindeer on there.
Rudolph was there, so I don't know.
I know, but how many reindeer does Santa have?
All the reindeers don't come out for the parade.
How many reindeers does Santa have?
12.
No, he doesn't have 12.
How's that song go? Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
Yeah, that's one. He's got 9 reindeer.
And one of them is Donald, isn't it?
Donner.
Okay.
Donner, Blitzen.
So how many are there? 9. What did you say? 9?
There's 9. There's 9 reindeer, not 12.
Well, I'm sure there are backups. I don't have names.
There's backups. Yeah, okay, good.
Okay, so what are we up to? So we did set Future of Peel.
Okay. Yeah, so during the inauguration for Bonnie, she actually brought this up again during her inaugurational speech saying Mississauga wants to go its own way. So she already laid the groundwork at the inaugural speech, and that's one of the things that we talked to Patrick about when we did the interview with him saying, you just hired a new chair for the region of Peel, and there was no other name put forward other than Nando Ianica, and he was the one that was basically, the name was put forward, and that was it. So we asked Patrick about that and about Bonnie's stance on the separation of Mississauga.
Here we go.
Bonnie Crombie, Mayor of Mississauga, in her inaugural speech just a couple of days ago, mentioned once again that she wants to separate from Peel. What's your thought on that?
So, listen, I think the province is going to lead a process that will lead to the dissolution of the region of Peel. And if that's the case, do I think there's duplications at regional and municipal government? Yes. I look at the planning department. Having 2 planning departments doing the same things makes no sense. It's a waste of money and creates more red tape. But if we devolve regional responsibilities on local governments, Brampton needs to be made full. It needs to be made whole. We subsidized Mississauga's growth for years. We subsidize their roads and their infrastructure, and so the contributions that Brampton residents have made through our regional taxes, we would need to be compensated for. Because now it's Brampton's turn to grow, and those same regional tax dollars were meant to go towards the building of our infrastructure. You look at the growth in the Heritage Heights area, East Brampton, there's still tremendous growth, and there needs to be equity to how it's funded. I'd also say the only comments that I found misguided from Mayor Crombie was in one of her interviews. She said she blamed COVID rates in Brampton. She said, Mississauga was shut down because they were attached to Brampton. I think that is
pretty low,
unfair in the sense that I would be expecting praise for our essential workers. Our essential workers kept Canada's supply chain together. These people work in the transportation logistics sector, in food processing. There'd be grocery stores in Mississauga, the hospital in Mississauga, without supplies if it wasn't for these unsung heroes. And they deserve thanks, not derision. And I would.
It's not like COVID stays in Brampton. I mean,
no. And frankly, would you separate parts of Mississauga because Malton had a higher COVID rate than South Mississauga? No, that's odd. And
generational families living in the same house, so on and so forth.
But it's the sacrifice and the courage and frankly, heroic approach of our essential workers that kept the country intact. And so to hear that as an argument for the dissolution of the region appeal, listen, I don't mind arguments to say we can save money for taxpayer dollars by getting rid of redundant departments. I get that. But pointing fingers at frankly, selfless COVID-19 pandemic heroes is not going to earn my support.
That was pretty self-explanatory, but I think what I got from that, Don, because I had heard Bonnie Crombie, Mississauga Mayor, talk about that during her campaign, and I didn't think that was going to go anywhere because that was decided in the last term by the Doug Ford that they weren't going to make any changes. But Patrick confirmed that he thinks, from what you saw what I saw, that region is going to be dissolved. I don't know what that means, if we're going to be dissolved and then amalgamated into one city, or dissolved and separated into two cities and then something else happens to Caledon. I think that's I've seen some, after we did that interview, I saw some other reporting basically suggesting that we're going to be separate cities and it's going to happen in the next 4 years.
There's a further addendum onto that that the interview goes on, and we talk about why the appointment of a regional chair and so on and so forth. So he gets into that, but we're still editing a video, and we'll put it out, little clips this here and there. But the other thing is that he mentioned restitution, and what do you do with the Peel Police Force? I mean, is that something that's going to be disillusioned as well, or there's
also the Peel District School Board, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's connected. So there is a lot of things that are connected with that. It's not going to be easy, and you have things that go cross-border. I mean, Peel right now takes care of the roads. What's going to happen? You're going to have, stop at the boundary of Mississauga and not repair the roads, or, you've got the LRT that goes up to Steeles in Huron, Ontario, which is part of Brampton. So there's a lot of things that have to be considered. It's not going to be a quick split up. There's just too much. There's too much stuff that goes into it.
And so. Which is great that we have a new council that seems so far to be working together because I think they have some huge projects to work on. One is what to do in the next 4 years if Peel gets dissolved, right? I think we need people who can fight cohesively for Brampton and not give away, things that because they don't agree that we do, we lose out.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big one. So we'll see where that goes. But apparently from what, like you said, and what we heard back and forth with Patrick, it was something that is probably going to happen.
Yeah, and in the next 4 years.
Well, we'll see if in the next 4 years, but yeah, it's going to be interesting.
And now, for the
Brampton
conclusion
Barn,
of this episode, we're going to talk about something we've been talking about for I don't know how many months. Is the Brampton Barn? How many months?
Talk about a year, I think it's basically.
Well, we've been talking about months or a year or two.
Yeah. Anyway, going back, they allocated this the gang of six basically pushed through $1 million towards a barn that is a Caledon barn. We wrote several articles on that. We did shows on this thing. Joe Warmington for The Sun basically did the same thing, saying, the idea is ludicrous, and if it can't be done for 100,000, it should be, the idea should be taken behind the barn and shot. So I thought that was quite interesting. But no, the new council basically, they met, I think it was last Wednesday, and the $1 million is off the board. So I'm all for heritage and preserving heritage, but no. For $1 million, a barn that basically is a Caledon barn, and the report said 80% of the timbers were no good, they were rotting. no, there's no way. That's a project that
I do feel bad for the Bovaird House, the Friends of Bovaird House, because I'm sure they've been working hard on this and they were hoping for things like this. But if any of them are watching, to me is don't give up, but come back with a better plan.
Well, the justification, for something like that, there was no justification. You've got the timbers were sitting there, at Sandalwood at no cost. They were stored at Sandalwood facility at no cost. Yeah, they bought the barn for $20,000, but basically it's been stored at that location for many years. The architect came in. I mean, that cost the city and taxpayers $16,000 for the architects to come in, take a look at the timbers, assess them. And that report was never presented to council because a gang of six bypassed it. And then they did the same thing with the report that basically on the Friends of Bovaird that never saw the light of day. So there's a whole bunch of different things that haven't been presented to council that is behind that scene. So
and I think everybody agrees, including the Friends of the Bovaird House, that $1 million for the barn was crazy, but that's the estimates that were coming in based on what they had, what the city had. So they should do their own work, right? Start some fundraising, come back to the city and put some skin in the game, right?
We had talked in the article, they're a nonprofit group. They could apply for federal or provincial grants. Why didn't they? There are federal and provincial grants for those things across Ontario to preserve heritage buildings. Why didn't they do that? I have never got an answer for that.
So they have more work to do, but if I were them,
I don't feel sorry. $1 million. Someone from that organization should have said, no, that's insane. That's taxpayers' money. It's way too much money. I'm sorry, but that's
Yeah. Okay, Don.
7:02. We're 2 minutes over.
Oh, I thought we were going to get under time with all that content. Unfortunately, you spoke too much again, Don.
That's my role. So basically, next Tuesday we're going to be back. Hopefully, Canada will have a winning record in the World Cup, and we'll be able to talk about that. But thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.